On a day like Good Friday every year, Christians of Roman Catholic denomination watch reenactments of the Passions of Christ as it gives life to the stories already told in the Bible. St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Church, Awka, just every other year, concluded the 2022 Every Friday Stations of the Cross, which began on the 4th of March 2022 with the reenactment of the Passions of Christ. It all began when Christ went with Peter and some disciples to the mountain to pray. Each time, Christ asked them to pray with him. They fell asleep, since it was in the night. After the third trial, Christ told them not to bother praying, that it was time for him to be betrayed. And as he was still talking, the Jews came for him.
Agora mundo novo mundo de sal, no mundo de mundo, a bonde a calawa.
My church, I want to like
The story continued from where Christ was questioned by scribes and Pharisees as they looked for allegations against Christ, from where they took him to Pontius Pilate. Pilate, after questioning Christ, sent him to King Herod, who sent him back to Pilate after making jest of him. This time, Pilate decided to punish him his own way after argument with his wife. But because the Jews insisted, he released Barnabas, a renowned criminal, and sentenced Christ to death at the instance of the Jews, but not until he washed his hands off Jesus' blood.
Barnabas.
Lest I forget, the parishioners also joined the Passions of Christ in the normal way of reading the story of each of the 14 stations, led by the priest in residence at the church. The rest of the story you all know, but permit me to mention that the event took different dimensions when Christ was crucified and died eventually, as parishioners wept deeply, especially as they believed that their sins brought the suffering upon Christ, who was innocent and blameless. Let us hear from some of the parishioners how the reenactment of Jesus' passion touched them.
On a melting too much, and just allow for no be him. Maggie John, only melting too much. When I just young men, I belly, or Bagazana and Jai. Who's open up with us when I join then I became a bagal. Now, well, my cow for and you know the no one go where me lie belly. Anyaka and I
went through torture and suffering just to to release us, to deliver us, to save mankind. So it's a day, it calls for somebody reflection of who we are and what we are. It shows the humility, the simplicity, the down-to-earthness of God, the Son himself. It's a lesson for all of us to learn. From here going forward, learn to be humble, to fear God, and to live according to the dictates and the commandments of God.
The priest in residence at St. Thomas Aquinas explained further the significance of Good Friday and why the church reenacts Passions of Christ on Good Fridays.
It brings to life that experience of Calvary, when the church enacts it this way, the people feels how the suffering, what Jesus underwent for them those years back. The scourging at the pillar, the nailing on the cross, the crucifixion, everything that happened those years is just for, when you read it, it's just like a story. But when you enact it this way, it's in living seed. People feels, oh, is this how Jesus suffered for us? It's in the life of people. It makes them feel remorse for their sins. It makes them feel that this ransom that was paid by the precious blood of Jesus is a huge sacrifice that Jesus made. And the life of Christians, it helps us to love Christ more.
There is a saying that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Having gone through this torture, Christ has paid the supreme price by dying on the cross. But the good news is that he resurrected on Easter Day. It is then left for his followers to reciprocate by living like him, loving, caring and sacrificing for one another for a better society. Insider News and the entire staff and management of the ABS are wishing all a happy Easter. In Awka, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS Insider News.